There are some things you should not be caught doing or saying on social media, particularly on Twitter, because once the online judges sit on your case, it might not end happily ever after. Now, one of such is the trending conversation about horrible bosses and toxic workplaces, which was sparked by a story published on Monday by Nigerian news platform Tech Cabal that detailed allegations of workplace abuse at Bento, attributing the toxic culture at the Lagos-based payroll management startup to the CEO, Ebun Okubanjo. Now, the account of insane work hours, harsh criticism, and sudden firings touched such a nerve that a Twitter space on the topic lasted nearly 8 hours, spilling into Tuesday morning with over 91,000 listeners who joined and reported issues of abuse they also faced at their own jobs. Now, here are a few comments from the hashtag horrible bosses. So much about these horrible bosses lately. Our labor union needs an holistic review. Their major focus is minimum wage that benefits only government workers. Please, true. Now, this comment says, this trend on horrible bosses goes to prove again that the people are as bad as the government officials that they accuse. Little power and we are seeing demons in human skin. Talk about practice what you preach. And then Simply Shima says, not everybody has the luxury of saying, I would rather not work than be harassed. Not many jobs are available out there. People are being dependent on these toxic spaces to actually fend for their family, to put food on the table. Hashtag horrible bosses. Over to South Africa. President Cyril Ramaphosa announced significant changes to the lockdown regulations on Tuesday evening. He addressed the nation following a meeting with the Presidential Command Council, PCC, together with mayors, ministers, and deputy ministers. Now, what stood out in his speech was a change to the regulation on wearing of face masks. So he said, as before, it is mandatory to wear a mask over the nose and mouth when in public indoor spaces. However, a mask is not required when outdoors. This means that we still need to wear masks when in shops, malls, taxis, buses, trains, but we do not need to wear masks when walking in the street or in an open space, when exercising outdoors, or when attending an outdoor gathering. Okay, here are some comments regarding this new regulation in South Africa. So this one says, I'm still going to wear a mask if President Cyril decides to say it is okay not to. Some of us talk to ourselves when we are on the streets, and this mask actually saves us from the embarrassment. People might think we are crazy. Do you? Now this comment says, not breaking news, we're not wearing masks in public, only when we enter shops. Speak for yourself. And then finally this one says, I'm never letting go of my mask. I'm so sorry, LOL. Now, still on Twitter, a journalist named David Hundeyin has accused Kiki Mordi of having sex with BBC producers for roles. Kiki, who gained prominence following the BBC African Eye documentary Sex for Grades, was called out by David after people took to the platform to share their experiences with horrible bosses. Now, Kiki Mordi was one of those co-hosting a space on toxic workplaces on Twitter, and David used the opportunity to throw the first punch by alleging that the co-host of the space is a beneficiary of a toxic action by one of the most toxic bosses in the entire Nigerian media space, in the words of David. He also highlighted that Kiki is not the creator of the Sex for Grace documentary that made her popular and also won her awards. Ouch. Now, Kiki responded that David was just pained because he was not in the center of attraction in the conversation. Now, their continued back and forth on Twitter has generated reactions from people online who are either in support of David or in support of Kiki. Let's see their comments. We have this one from Peter Obi. He says, immediately David Hundeyin called Kiki's government name Nkiruka. Now then I know say problem don't dey. I always thought Kiki was Yoruba and that her name was Okiki. No, he's not Okiki, he's Nkiruka. You're welcome. Now Sammy Chris says, I like David Hundeyin and his ability to search things out. I respect that 100. But he's as toxic as the people he fights with. Ouch. Whoever disagrees with him is an Why? Because this is exactly the same thing with Kiki and the rest. David is just better because he has receipts to prove everything he's talking about. Wow. And then Uche Okoro says, is it just me or did I just see something that indicates that for once arch enemies Kemi Oloyo and David Hundeyin agree on a certain Kiki subject? Who would have ever thought, albeit peace while at war? Well, there's more on this one and we will bring them to you. But for now, that's all we have for you tonight on NT Trends. Thank you for joining us and stay fabulous. I am Shield Bankali.